What is the Humanities in Public programme?
That is probably the broadest kind of question. I don't really know where to start here. It's basically a way in which we can showcase the research we do and what its impact is or might be on the world external to the university, outside the university, outside the ivory tower, really. So digital humanities, human rights and ethics. And we made a concerted effort really at attracting the public, but we found that simply by calling our events public events, nothing happened. You know, we could say that, could of course say repeatedly that the doors of the university were open, but people couldn't hear us. So we did a lot of thinking and we did a lot of work, and we decided that our whole approach had to change. And this is how we came up with the idea of the Humanities in Public programme, HIP. So this year we are running 5 strands. The first strand is about the contemporary Gothic. The second one is about global society. The third one is about women in philosophy. The fourth one is about, what is it? Can't remember. Body modification, cosmetic surgery and so on, particularly from a legal sociological perspective. And finally we've got a strand called Sensing Place, which really brings together researchers from human geography, sociology, creative writing, and it's all about the environment and the individual's sense of his or her environment. But each strand also includes events that happen off campus, or at least have a very clear link to what happens in the world outside academia. For example, the Women in Philosophy strand has a public discussion, a kind of forum or fair attached to it, which will take place on International Women's Day. And we've invited all kinds of community and turn the Jeffrey Manton building, the atrium of the Jeffrey Manton building, which is a very convivial space, into a forum. And the challenge really is to open the doors of the university and do that effectively. So the idea is that some events take place off campus, and that people who wouldn't normally venture onto campus, who perhaps have no prior experience of higher education, who would find it too intimidating to come into the university, join those events and then think, oh, there's more attached to this program. Maybe if my friends come with me, I can go to some of the other events that take place on campus. So we are really deliberately attempting to take the fear away from people, that the university is a place that they don't belong to, that they are trespassing in some way. But that's really the challenge, how to open the doors of the university. Good question. And this is actually a question I discussed with Helen Malarkey this morning. Helen Malarkey is our project manager for the Institute. And she's only been in post since February, and her appointment has made all the difference to what we're attempting to do here. Because last year I was trying to do everything myself, and it was just too much for one person. It was certainly too much for one academic who doesn't really know very much about public relations. And we are now communicating effectively with people via Twitter and Facebook. We've got a brochure that looks good. And actually the design is interesting here, because the design itself is Helen's idea, and it shows that what we are about people, and the people that you see bits and pieces of here are actually members of staff and students from the faculty. And to show that we are not just about humanities, or that the humanities are not all that narrowly defined. We've also included a cat. So the humanities also include animal studies, for example. But anyway, what was I talking about? How do we evaluate our success? Well, we were talking this morning about exactly that. How to carry out an evaluation process. I mean, no research, no public engagement can take place anymore these days without being properly evaluated afterwards. But I think it will make sense for us to do that. So we are collecting people's details. We've got a mailing list. We've increased our Twitter following by, I don't know, 300, 400%. We started with 150. So it wasn't that great in February, so that's multiplying quite nicely. So an evaluation process will certainly take place.